What is the impeller and what is it used for? Nautic and Pilol. Follow us. Often in the world of boating, you hear about this blessed impeller. Many do not know what it is. And most, not being boaters or enthusiasts of nautical activities, hear it mentioned, but cannot understand what it is. Well, quickly put, it is the internal component of the cooling water pump of the engine. I will immediately let you know that we are going to see an impeller that is completely disassembled in the workshop because, in my opinion, it is easier to understand from images than from what I say. That said, for now, let's finish the last seconds of the video here in my office. Like all engines, if we think about the automobile, I hope we have already heard about the radiator and that engine cooling system. The engine, of course, being a thermal engine, is not referring to electric engines, even though they also require cooling. But let's not get lost in various open parentheses. Let's talk about thermal engines. So, diesel or gasoline or gas or whatever it is. Thermal engine. It heats up and needs to be cooled. In a car, it is cooled by a radiator. In terms of marine applications, the radiator is the sea. So the container of coolant that cools our engine is actually the water in which we are navigating. Since no one thinks that, it is you at the helm, in command of this boat, having to take on buckets of water and cool the engine. There is a hydraulic system designed so that the engine, once started, automatically draws in seawater, cools the internal parts, and then expels it out. The heart, the most important organ of this system, is the impeller, which is a small propeller made of rubber balls that spins inside a cooling water pump body. It rotates within a chamber that is slightly smaller than itself, allowing the blades to bend and generate force. In this way, it creates a vortex that sucks in seawater, has the power to push it onto the engine, cool the engine, and then exit. This rotation is due to the fact that the impeller is positioned exactly on the drive shaft between the engine and the dedicated system. So when the engine is running, the drive shaft turns. And if the drive shaft turns, the impeller also rotates. Normally, on an outboard motor like this one, or rather this is the model, but a 350 Honda like this, regardless of whether it is this one or other engines, an outboard motor is indeed the engine that is mounted at the back of the boat, with the impeller positioned roughly like this. The drive shaft comes in. This part of the lower unit is removable. You extract this part, change the impeller located above it, and reassemble everything, of course, with the proper and correct use of both the tools and the ability to do so. But I'm going to change. And then we'll go to the workshop to see what it is and where it is on the actual engine. Here I am changed without the red jacket. I only have the polo now. Let's go disassemble the pump body. As you can see, this is the lower part of the foot. So down here we have the propeller. This is the foot, the lower part of the foot, and this is the drive shaft. Inside here, we have the impeller, but let's find out. After removing the 4 screws, I unscrewed them first, obviously. It's not magic. I unscrewed them while the video was off. Now we have the pump body, which is this piece of plastic. This is the pump body. This is the base, the interior, and the core of the pump body, where we have our impeller inside. Do you see how it is shaped inside? And the force that the blades exert against the steel of this pump. I hope this video has clarified for you what the impeller is, what it is used for, where it is positioned, and whether to change it or not. Depending on your practical experience and technical skills, you may also decide to do it yourself. Why not? If you are an experienced marine mechanic, if you are a mechanic, or if you are someone capable of doing a lot of manual work and knowing where and how to get things done. The important thing is to change it preventively. You will never know if it is damaged until you open it and replace it. So, by simply replacing it with a new one, the job is 70% done. When you have both in hand, you will realize whether it needed to be replaced or not. In my opinion, the cost of the impeller at that level is lower than the work already done. So replace it preventively every year, or at most every 2 years, even if you don't use the boat. I repeat, even if you don't use the boat, because it is rubber, tightly confined inside a much smaller cup, the rubber blades dry out, and if they dry out, they develop a crack with the oxide. While remaining in that position, automatically, the first time they spin at 2000 RPM, a blade will break, and your engine will be ruined. On this scorching summer day, all I can say is that if you don't want to miss any of our nautical tips and try them at sea, you just need to subscribe to this channel to wrap up fair winds and always keep an eye on the weather.